Welcome to the 30th day of November. It's a Tuesday, 2021. Can you believe it? Here we are at the last day of November, staring down December, but the boredom, if you're a weather watcher, continues. Day 2 of the boredom. Slightly cooler today. We did see a few rain and snow showers across sections of Interstate 90 in Montana, Wyoming, and South Dakota last night, but really nothing more than that. That system's moving away, but it will make today slightly cooler. December will be off to a very, very mild start. In fact, there will be many locations looking at record high temperatures. This will be especially true east of the Continental Divide. Tomorrow and Thursday, the first 2 days of December, very mild. Now, we start to cool off by Friday and the weekend. Not dramatically, just a little bit cooler. Temperatures a little closer to normal values as we get into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But through Sunday, we're still not anticipating any significant precipitation really anywhere. Now, changes to colder and unsettled next week is coming, but the details are going to be really tricky to sort out, at least this far out. The models continue to have a very difficult time, and one reason is the Western Pacific is influencing the modeling and the overall weather pattern. And you're saying, well, why are we going to talk about the Western Pacific? Well, I'll try to have it make sense for you when we show you what's going on in the Western Pacific Ocean. Something that's 5,000 miles away is going to impact our weather as we go into the next couple of weeks. Now, in the meantime, while there's very little to talk about weather-wise, let's look at pretty pictures. We're getting some great pictures, more lenticular cloud photos coming on in. And some of these pictures are just great at showing the lenticular clouds. Here we are over the Grand Teton, a nice lenticular cloud there. And then if you look over Mount Moran and the Grand Teton, you've got two sets of lenticular clouds over both peaks there. Just a beautiful shot. Another beautiful shot taken on Thanksgiving Day in the Jackson area. Just gorgeous vistas with the snow on the mountains and these lenticular clouds. And then look at this lenticular shot taken by Dave Bell in Pinedale, looking over the Wind River Mountains. And you can see the extent of the wave formation as the jet stream winds go over the mountain ranges. They cause these wave functions and these wave features that form these lenticular clouds. And as we have mentioned before, in a La Nina season, when you have more wind, you're going to get more lenticular cloud episodes like the ones that we're seeing here. Thanks for sending these photos in. They're absolutely spectacular. Now, here we are with today's satellite photo, but you're probably struggling to find North America. What is he doing? He has put the wrong satellite photo on here. No, what we're looking at here is a shot of the Western Pacific. Here is Japan. Now, if you want to get closer to North America, here are the Aleutian Islands right here. What I want you to notice is this right here. We have a tropical storm which is going to turn into a typhoon. Now, what's interesting about this, there's several interesting things. First of all, there has been almost no typhoon activity in the Western Pacific during the typhoon or hurricane season in the Western Pacific. It was extremely quiet, but we do have a late season typhoon forming, and this typhoon is going to gain strength and head off to the northeast. We call this a recurving typhoon, and I'll show you why we call it recurving. What is important about this, even though this is really, really far away, this energy, all of the energy contained in this typhoon is going to get drawn up and connected to the jet stream, which is up here. That's why we call it recurving. As it curves back up to the northeast, the jet stream will basically entrain it, bring it in. And you want to just think of this as just a lot of energy. Think about it as maybe this is maybe a lot of gasoline, and we're going to put it up here in the fire, which is the jet stream. It's just going to add energy to the jet stream as it curves northeastward. And here's the projection. It's right now, I'm going to slaughter the name. I think it's called Nyatoa. Tropical Storm Nyatoa becomes a typhoon by tomorrow. That's what the T means. And then you can see it starting to recurve. And if we were to take a look at the weather maps, this is out in the Pacific Ocean. This is at 500 millibars or 18,000 feet. This is the normal maps we show you. So here's the jet stream up here. And here is the tropical storm, soon to be a typhoon. Now, what happens, especially in the late season like this, is they will drift west, but as they want to get towards that low pressure, hurricanes, typhoons, tropical storms are always attracted to the closest area of low pressure, which is this guy right here going across Korea. So as this trough goes across Korea, it's going to draw the typhoon up like this. So here we are today. This is where we're going to be by Wednesday night. Notice it going north, and it's going towards that low coming out of Korea. And then what ends up happening is that energy gets drawn into the jet stream and things really change. Basically, the jet stream buckles. It begins to change shape as that energy is introduced to the jet stream. So what I want you to watch is what goes on right here in the Central Pacific. We do have a high pressure ridge by tomorrow night that is building. But look what happens when the typhoon gets drawn into the jet stream. Boom! The high pressure ridge really expands. This trough sharpens up here, and all of a sudden we're amplifying the flow. We've been talking about one reason why it's been so warm and dry is the jet stream's been moving west to east. It hasn't been amplified. But this typhoon gets into the mix, and as it does so, it amplifies the pattern and really changes it. So you're adding energy to the system. And then what ends up happening is we start to see by Sunday more waviness form. Now, all of the action I showed you is off this map, but we're getting more wavy now. And with us getting more wavy, we're going to start moving air masses more to the north and south. There's going to be more latitude displacement of the colder air and the warmer air. So this is by Sunday morning. Winds aloft are now coming in from the northwest, and that's going to begin to cool things off a little bit. Then further out, this is Monday night into Tuesday, the high pressure here builds and we're getting more waves in the system. That's why the weather pattern is going to start next week getting active and more cold. And part of that reason is that typhoon out in the Western Pacific. So all things are connected in the hemispheric weather patterns. And when you have these tropical systems late in the season like this getting introduced into the jet stream, well, things are going to start to change and start to happen. And that's one reason why we think our computer modeling is having a very difficult time handling the weather forecast for next week and beyond. Just all of that extra energy from the typhoon into the system kind of upsetting the balance a little bit. Once the typhoon is brought into the jet stream, the models will settle down a little bit. This is for next Saturday. You can see that it just gets more active. But again, we have to put a big question mark on this exact pattern other than to tell you the trend is colder next week. The trend for snow chances go up, but the details, well, we need a few more days to get the details sorted on out. But the flow becomes much, much more amplified now. Big ridge developing out here in the central areas of the Pacific due to that response to the changing jet stream pattern. Have yourself a good Tuesday. We'll take a look at that tropical Pacific again tomorrow and see what that typhoon's doing. Have yourself a good Tuesday.